the top clubs of the world need those kinds of owners.
I'm glad we're talking about this, Bjorn. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I've been watching a lot of German soccer media lately, trying to get the scoops for our English-speaking audience. And the conversation we're talking about is sort of the big talk. And in Germany, it's also part of the big talk. There's fans talking about 50+1. Should we catch up with England and Italy and Spain and blah, blah, blah. Bigger pictures, bigger picture, bigger picture. Now, you and I are just two German American fans watching it from afar. But we actually have a couple of experts talking about the same thing with very strong opinions. And I'd love to. Are you ready to share it with our audience and maybe
let's do it? This
translate it and throw more wood on the fire? This is the Watzke one. Let's play the Watzke one.
Okay. So
sehr gut abgeschnitten haben. Die deutschen Mannschaften.
So what we have here is an interview that Rudi Voeller, right? New sport director.
Yeah, so this is a TV show or a web show from BILD, which is a big German publication. Die Liga der Lage. Every week it's like a weekly.
Die Lage der Liga, the state of the league.
Sorry, state of the league. And this is last week's episode. They had Rudi Voeller there for the full hour, talking about everything, talking about Bundesliga, the race, and the national team, blah, blah, blah. This was them, I think, because with the Champions League next week in Europe, they talked about how good German clubs have been doing in Europe compared to England and whatnot. And let's just hear what these people have to say. So maybe we'll play it and then you can translate.
Zum größten Teil sehr gut abgeschnitten haben. Die Premier League im Vergleich noch nicht, zumindest nicht in den Hinspielen. Und Hans-Joachim Watzke sieht darin, dass die Premier League diese Finanzkraft an den Tag legt, als kein Problem, während andere in der Bundesliga das definitiv als Problem sehen. Wir wollen mal gemeinsam reinhören, was Hans-Joachim Watzke dazu sagt.
So her intro is basically saying that the German teams currently are successful in the Champions League, in the first round of games, the Premier League not as much. Some people like Watzke, BVB director Watzke, does not think that the Premier League's financial dominance is a problem. Other people do think it's a problem, and we're now going to hear from Mr. Watzke.
Ja, mein Gott, in der Premier League, da fließt so viel Geld. Und wo ist das Problem? Und okay, national.
So he's saying, yeah, there's so much money, the Premier League, there's so much money coming in and out. And so what? What's the problem? That's what he's saying.
Die Mannschaft ist jetzt nicht super gelaufen. Aber wenn eine Fußballnation ihr Selbstbewusstsein ausschließlich nur über die Nationalmannschaft definiert, dann verstehe ich ehrlich gesagt nicht, wo die Premier League ihr Selbstbewusstsein herziehen würde. Denn ich war 7 Jahre alt, als die Engländer den letzten Titel gewonnen haben. Nur mal am Rande, auch mal bemerkt.
So, and the second soundbite is how he's saying that the German national team didn't do that great in the World Cup. But as a football soccer nation, if you're just defining your self-worth or where you fit in the world from how your national team is doing, then the Premier League does really poorly because, Watzke's saying he was 7 years old the last time that England won the World Cup. So little dig on the at the English national team.
Can I interject though? It's funny how he mentions that because England has done better than Germany in the last 3, maybe even 4 major tournaments. So it's funny he mentions that. He is correct, but in my opinion, as a reaction, I find him to be a little defensive. I don't know. How do you feel, Bjorn?
Sure. I mean, he's trying to be funny. It's rhetoric. It's rhetoric. Right. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't in these 2 bites. He has not really explained himself. These are just snippets. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is also BILD, right? BILD's a tabloid. It's a tabloid.
Right.
Really. It's not journalism. This is just, it's like stir the pot. This is stir the pot kind of thing.
Later in the episode, which I think I do have a clip of, Rudi Voeller looks him right in the face and blames them partly for the German national team's poor performance. And then they accept part of the blame.
Wow. All right. Well, let's hear what we've got next here.
Stimmt, Rudi Voeller nickt und lacht. Aber Herr Voeller, finden Sie es nicht auch bemerkenswert, dass wir alle immer aufgrund der Finanzkraft der Premier League nach außen schreien, die Bundesliga sei nicht wettbewerbsfähig? Dann haben wir die Champions League Hinspiele, in denen fast alle Bundesligisten gewinnen und kein Premier League Team einen Sieg einfährt.
Also
Well, I mean, I even have comments before before Rudi. So Rudi also thought that was funny what Watzke said. He's nodding and laughing, they were saying. And so this is so they're saying, well, what do you make of this? You know, we keep saying that the Bundesliga is not competitive and can't compete with the financials of the Premier League. But the first round of these Champions League games, none of the English teams won a game and the German teams did very well. So I would say, like, who cares? That is a tiny sample size. And all of that is going to change again this week, most likely. And
it's all the first leg. I mean, Man
you're going to
City
make
and Chelsea.
You're going to extrapolate some kind of larger economic theory based on like 4 first legs of I don't know. I object to the premise. But anyway, let's see what Rudi has to say.
Momentaufnahme spricht natürlich absolut für uns und ist auch ein wichtiges Thema. Also ich sage das ja immer gerne, nicht nur was den DFB oder Nationalmannschaft anbetrifft, auch die Bundesliga. Wir sollen uns nicht kleiner machen, als wir sind. Das ist meine feste Überzeugung. Natürlich waren die Ergebnisse international jetzt mit der Nationalmannschaft, vor allem auch in den Clubwettbewerben, jetzt nicht so prickelnd in den letzten Jahren. Aber außer Bayern München, die natürlich Champions League-Sieger geworden sind, Eintracht Frankfurt in den letzten Jahren Europa League. Aber viele Jahre war es halt auch ein bisschen dünn. Aber trotzdem, im Vergleich jetzt nicht nur zur Premier League, die natürlich wirtschaftlich in ganz anderen Sphären jetzt sich bewegt, aber vor allem auch mit Frankreich. Das vergisst man ja, mit Frankreich oder Italien. Ich glaube, die Franzosen, ich kann das wiederholen, wir haben gerade in Monaco einen Franzosen ausgeschaltet. Wir hoffen natürlich, dass die Bayern gegen Paris nichts anbrennen lassen, dass dann Paris noch rausfliegt. Also viele Franzosen sind in dem Wettbewerb auch nicht mehr drin, obwohl wir wirtschaftlich ja mit Italien, Frankreich und Spanien auch auf einem Level sind, was Einnahmen anbetrifft. Also da machen wir es schon gut. Also
So Rudi is saying it's lovely to hear all these. I mean, Watzke also is a real man of the Ruhrgebiet. It's lovely to hear these thick accents of my people. Anyway, so he's saying, German teams shouldn't make themselves smaller than they are. There's a lot of obviously the Premier League is in a different stratosphere, but compared, even though the German teams haven't done all that well in general the last few years, with some exceptions, Frankfurt winning the Europa League, Bayern winning the Champions League, but it's been a little thin overall. But he's saying compared to Spanish, French, and Italian teams that are more sort of on the same level as the Bundesliga clubs are doing quite well, especially this year.
Die Clubs jetzt noch besser als die letzten Jahre. Also mich freut das schon, dass wir mit unseren Möglichkeiten, die wir haben, da muss man auch die Clubs mal loben. Also nicht nur die Dortmunder jetzt gegen Chelsea, ich finde auch Leipzig hat ein wunderbares Spiel gemacht gegen Leipzig, gegen Manchester City.
Ja.
Das war
Yeah, he thinks that the teams are doing pretty well, and they deserve some credit for doing it well, and not just Dortmund against Chelsea. He's saying Leipzig played a good game against Man City.
Das war überragend, und die anderen natürlich auch. Also wir sind da gut im Rennen.
Everybody's they all have a chance. They're all in it before the second leg with a chance to perhaps advance. You were going to say, so you looked like you were going to say something.
I think he's giving Leipzig too much credit, right? He's like, Leipzig played a good game against Man City. To me, that sounds a little bit like not sports washing, Bundesliga washing. Rudi Voeller's doing a little Bundesliga washing.
I mean, he now works for the FA, right? He's going to be a booster. He's going to boost.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Let's see.
Trotzdem muss man sagen, verlieren wir die Stars immer in die Premier League. Du hast einen Haaland verloren, wahrscheinlich einen Bellingham, sehr wahrscheinlich wirst du auch verlieren.
Ja.
Oder vielleicht
wir haben auch Kai Havertz an Chelsea abgegeben vor einigen Jahren, aber das ist auch so, das ist aber nicht schlimm, das ist ja der Kreislauf. Du musst halt, das ist dann das Geschick der Sportverantwortlichen dann bei den deutschen Clubs, dass du halt mit den Geldern, die du dann kassierst, die du dann einnimmst, das ist ja ein Kreislauf.
Aber
dass
ist
du
es
wieder andere
mittlerweile
Spieler
so, dass die
verpflichtest.
Bundesliga ein Discounter ist für die Premier League?
This is so stupid. I mean,
We
these
need more
like
of this kind of media here in the U.S. Is all I'm going to say.
what, like the
this-
schlock, the
we need a guy take Greg Berhalter and being like, so you brought on, you played Jordan Morris, Mr. Gio Reyna. What the hell's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like right to his face.
well, but this is just, it's just sort of rhetoric. It's like, well, he's the I don't know these people's names. The host on the right, he was saying, well, you keep losing players, and he's like, you keep losing these players. Like Rudi Voeller is not responsible for who Dortmund or Leipzig. Anyway, you keep losing these players to the Premier League. Haaland, you lost Haaland. You're going to lose Jude Bellingham. Rudi is like, yeah, the team he's actually was working for, Leverkusen, is like, yeah, Kai Havertz, we lost to Chelsea, and then she goes, well, isn't the Bundesliga just the discounter for the Premier League? Meaning, like, it's like the Bundesliga is like the Aldi,
right.
the Aldi of
It's the
players.
Costco. It's the Costco.
But I think that's, I mean, Rudi is saying, Rudi Voller's reply is that this is not, it's just the way of the world, it's the circle of life. You sell the players, you get the money, and then you invest it well, and you keep doing it all over again. I mean, I think he's right about that. And I think Bundesliga teams have done pretty well, but in terms of, I mean, when I think, I think recently of Jorginho Rota, 38 million. I mean, I think the Bundesliga is taking advantage also. I don't think of them as the discounter necessarily. But anyway, let's see what Rudi says.
Ja, aber das ist ja auch nicht schlimm. Das haben wir doch in der Bundesliga auch. Die Bayern, die kaufen sich dann auch von uns die Spieler oder von den Dortmundern oder von den Leipzigern. Wie wir das dann auch in Leverkusen jahrelang haben wir auch oder einen Spieler vom 1. FC Köln oder von Union Berlin. Das sind doch ganz normale Abläufe. Also das ist jetzt nichts Ehrregiges, das ist ganz normal.
Die Deutschen.
He says this is just how it goes. The bigger everybody has a place on the continuum, and the Premier League buys players. Bayern used to buy players from Dortmund and everywhere, and them as Leverkusen, he said he would take players from Union Berlin or Köln or other teams. It's just kind of how the system works. It's not a problem, says Rudi.
Well, that right there is just the first clip, or one clip we have. Rudi Voeller and Watzke give their 2 cents about German clubs and their place in Europe. That was just the Schnitzel Boys video on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. If you like that one, we've got a couple other ones right over here. And if you like that one, don't be afraid to subscribe, like, and ring that bell.
It's the Schnitzel Boys, it's the Schnitzel Boys, it's the Schnitzel Boys.